welcome to episode 168 of your favorite totally awkward water sports guys
Take four.
podcast. What?
Let's take
Take four?
four.
Is this
Oh,
take four?
this take four.
168. 168. 168. 168. Episode 168 brings us Jason Schilder, a great friend of the show and great friend to Greg and I personally. We're super stoked. We've been trying to get him on for years. But being the shrewd water sport operator is, Jason's like, I don't really want to give away all my secrets to my competitors, and I fucking hate you and Greg for doing so. But so I will reluctantly come on and tell my story. But I'm super jacked that he's on the show because he is one of, I say this a lot, but if I had a water sport baseball trading folder, you would be up there in like my top 2-3 fucking slots prize cards. No, seriously, man, I can't say enough good things about you. We appreciate you coming on and sharing a little bit of your story. But before we do, we have to shamelessly plug our corporate sponsor, Pixoris. Pixoris is a fucking automated media sharing platform that grows your brand. Your crew already takes amazing photos for your guests. Why not make them work harder for your brand? With Pixoris, every photo is instantly shared with guests, beautifully branded with your logo, and saved to your media library. Guests get their memories faster, your brand shines on social media, and you get endless content for marketing. Special offer. Mention Awkward Watersports Guys to snag 20 gigabytes worth of free photo credits. That's about 4,000 photos, starting at just $150 a year, which is kind of mind-blowing to me because when they pitched us, I thought it was going to be $150 a month. You heard that right. $150 a year with a 14-day money-back guarantee. It's a no-brainer to turn memories into marketing gold. So check it out now and level up your photo game. And with that said, let's get on to my big man crush buddy, Jason Schilder. How the hell are you doing, man?
Doing wonderful, sir. How about yourself?
Man, it only took us about 5 takes to try and get through our little corporate commercial there. So I'm happy we got that past us and we can just, shoot the shit. But I'm good, man. And as always, we're joined with the smartest one of the three of us, and Greg Fisher. How the fuck you doing, man?
Good. The best looking one too.
It's so fucking verifiably false. I mean, with Jason and me, I could see where there might be a fucking debate, but I mean, fucking Christ, come on.
Yeah. No, this is like you said before. I've been asking Jason, I don't know how many times to come on the show, and he says yes, and then like he'll never follow up. So nailed him down this time. But Jason and I kind of started our journeys 15 years ago. Well, Jason's probably just a few years before I started Trip Shock, but like we were both small. Jason had a handful of skis and a couple boats, and I'm here trying to start this fledgling OTA startup that no one knew how it even worked or whatever. And so it's been really fun to kind of watch our businesses grow and us learn from each other too. So excited about the chat today.
Yeah. And you're so small in stature while Jason's fucking jacked.
So,
and he's got more money than all of us. So yeah. If you guys need any money, hit up Jason Schilder at extremehro.com.
We haven't had a show like this where we just crack up. It's been a minute. We needed one of these. So Jason, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your journey into water sports.
I started 21 years ago, and I was doing tile work and kept getting jobs. I was doing something I did not enjoy, and I woke up one day and said, enough of this. I'm going to go have fun, and bought a few skis, bought 4 jet skis, and opened a spot out on the beach on Old 98.
And it's been so much fun ever since, right? It's just everyone. It's just always like just smiles, and you're just surfing, and you're surfing.
That was the original intention, yes, because when the surf was up, I was closed. So that was a good fit. So originally, yes, that is exactly why I started.
Well, why was it skis? Like, why did you, do it?
I just love being on the water. And,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've ridden jet skis and I've rented jet skis out since I was like 16 years old. And, when I was 12, I tried to work for a guy that was renting some jet skis out, Harry Burns, in Fort Walton Beach. And I told him I'll just fuel all the skis, wash all the skis, do whatever he needed. I just wanted to ride a ski for 30 minutes a day, And he's like, you're 12. I can't hire you, bud. Sorry.
Did you ever, I never asked you this, but did you ever think when you started that business, and you bought those 4 skis, that you would be sitting here right now having multiple locations, parasail? Like, did it even cross your mind? No,
I just wanted to go enjoy my life, do something I loved, be on the water, be on the beach in the sun.
Mm-hmm. So
when the surf goes up, I wanted to be off work.
So you had 4 skis, 20 years ago, and walk us through
So I did that for a year out at Sea Oaks Motel, and then very next year I got 4 more skis down by Camille's, which was just right down the beach. I could use the same 4-wheeler for pulling my skis up and down the beach. Police came out, they closed me down, said I didn't have upland and improved whatever restrooms and all the things needed to operate that business. And I actually had a letter from the property owner stating that I could use his parking and his upland improved area or whatever, all the things necessary. But I didn't have the confidence to fight them. They showed up, so I closed the location down. Went back to one spot. I did that for 4 years, and then I got an opportunity over on Calhoun Avenue with Chris White, Mr. Ming.
It's like you're not a real water sports guy unless you have been accosted by the police in some way, or
on a regular basis.
Yeah, no shit, man. They skipped right past that. They showed up with a councilman for me. They're like,
that's
those neck tattoos. We need to really have a fucking councilman come out. Dude, I would have shut down just for a regular cop. I don't need another case on my jacket, dude. You guys you didn't have to roll out.
I didn't have knowledge or to know really the difference. So I just closed it up. Now it's a different time for sure. We've all come together, created what it is now with the Watersports Coalition.
Mm-hmm.
Different.
You've done there's a lot to unpack in 20 years, but give us kind of a quick synopsis. So you got to your Calhoun Avenue location, you built it up to how big, and then you went, to different, to walk us through kind of the journey of where you're at now. And,
we started with 8 skis and a couple pontoon boats at Calhoun Avenue. I had a partner. We didn't have any marketing. I didn't know anything about marketing. We didn't really make any money. We struggled for the first year, and he wanted me to buy him out, so I did. And the following year, I created a website, and it was kind of early, 2008. Nobody really was attacking. Had a strong online presence. So we, as soon as that hit, it changed my life. We went from very minimal income to holy shit. My life has just made a drastic change.
Like I said at the top of the show, if you need to borrow money, Jason, fucking millionaire. I gotta fuck with you a little bit, man. A little bit. Yeah. So if I could jump in here,
go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't know you, and so around so you bought that first parasail boat in what, 2009, 2010, after the Gulf oil spill, right?
Yeah, I think it was 10 or 11, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So oddly enough, I didn't know who you were, and one of our captains at Sunset had taken a job to come work for you, and I remember talking to him about it, and he was like, "Man, I'm going up to he said they called it the Redneck Riviera," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what that is," and he's like, "Yeah, Destin." I was like, "Yeah, keep on specifying, dude. I have no idea where the fuck that is," and then he was like, "Man, like near Pensacola." I'm like, "Yeah, keep going, man. I don't know where that is."
Southern Alabama.
Oh, yeah, I'm an idiot. He's like, "It's like North Florida," and I'm like, "All right," and then I was like, "Yeah, there's a guy parasailing," and he's like, "No, man, he's got, he does jet skis and he does X, Y, and Z, and he's just getting the parasail game." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, see you next year when you come back." You know what I mean? I'm like, I mean, that was like my exact word to him, because I'm just like, I was like, there's no way a non-parasailer, because I mean, you see it happen all the time. Like, guys are like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get in a parasail," and they fucking buy a boat and they get a shit captain. You didn't obviously get that with Scotty.
No, at all. He was great.
Scotty was a great guy.
I booked parasail out on the beach. So, we kind of developed the marketing for parasail. I jumped on a boat and tried it for a minute. When I was on the boat, I got robbed on the beach. I said, "Oh, I can't be on the boat. I got to be where the cash register's at." And so that's kind of how we got into parasailing. Once we already had the market for it. So,
and today, just to give like a fast forward, how many parasail boats do you run today?
We're running 4 right now, maybe 5 next year.
Fuck yeah, dude. So the reason I wanted to like segue to that is, I mean, just to give you your flowers on like what is just an incredibly hard business to break into, even as an experienced parasail captain, but to have the entrepreneurial chops to actually grow and scale parasail with zero parasail experience. I just think it's super what's the word I'm looking for? Not encouraging, motivating. Inspiring? That's the word I'm looking for. You're an inspiring story, and that's
I had some great captains, and I always was willing to pay them more than whatever the market was, because I appreciated how much, the trust that I have in them. So I think that's part of what helped us grow is the great people we had working for us, for sure,
I think you shortchange yourself a little bit there, because sure, you get captains with the pay, but you know what I mean. Keeping them and scaling them and growing them is, I think, more of a testament to fucking solid fundamental leadership as well. So I don't think it's just money by any means why anybody stays with you, or why you have a great team that come to the events with you and you always are with them. And I just think that's fucking. You know what I mean? That's such a big part of it. Like when Greg and I are networking and fucking shaking hands and kissing babies, I'm always like, "Where's Jason?" And Greg's always like, "Oh, he's with his team." And I think that's fucking. I think that's just such a big part of it, man.
I like to be in the trenches for sure, And the limelight here is not my comfort zone. I'd rather be handling the business and kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah. Well, kind of segueing into behind the scenes. So, let's stay on the parasailing topic for a minute. Parasailing is a very hard business, not just to start, but to stay in business. All the nuances, pricing and marketing, and it's a very, it's a more expensive experience. So you're having to really compete, and what do you think like is the reason why you've been able to grow parasailing and stay as like one of the top operators? You don't have to give away your secrets, but what does it take? What does it take to, because there's people in our group that actually looking into getting into parasailing, not in Destin, but like in other markets.
I mean, our area is so competitive and it is tough, and we just we market like hell, and we try to take care of our captains and keep the great ones that we have. And I don't know, Greg, I don't know.
Well, I will say, you're not afraid to spend money. That's one thing that I think there's about you that everyone else, like they won't spend. They're not, and you're not afraid to take some risk and be really aggressive.
I
And
feel
where does that come from? Like why do you feel like that's
well. I mean, that
necessary?
initial website that I built showed me exactly where the success was going to come from. So it was rinse and repeat, and get exposure. So I mean, we developed a formula that works. This year was kind of a year of survival. I feel like, no, I think everybody had a tough year. So you just got to do what you got to do to keep your team together, to survive it until these times get better, which I believe is happening right now. And next year.
Let me, and I think like why I feel like we've always had like a good relationship and probably I remember meeting you for the first time at the docks, and I'd heard stories like that you were a roughneck, you know what I mean? And like, don't get me wrong, I mean, I fucking same stories about me, dude. Like, I think we've probably exited a few employees in a very non-professional way, maybe literally physically exit them like right out of the fucking building. And there's like a history to water sports that has that, right? Like, I mean, when you look at water sports, super blue collar, I mean, would you say that like like of you being in the trenches or like looking at it like hindsight, like the amount of respect that, so beyond the marketing, beyond paying people, I would very safe to assume you were very much respected in your organization. Like no one looks at you, you know what I mean? Like
They all know I think of them like family. They are my family. I mean, William, one of my captains, worked for me since he was 14 years old. He's 25, I think, 26, something like that now. His father was my first boss he's the guy that I was trying to get the job washing his jet skis to ride the jet skis. So, yeah, they're family, they're not employees. I don't think that way. I think you probably think of the people that take care of you the same way.
No, they're totally fucking replaceable. I hope they're listening. I'll fucking take you out. Well, but I think like, so what you said about like being in the trenches with them, and then when you see like an underperforming employee and somebody that's gonna fucking mouth off or like get shitty with you, like we could take it like right, like just to the trenches, you know what I mean? I've seen captains fist fight on the fucking dock, and I think there's a level of that when you're willing to get in the dirt and do the things that you're telling them to do, and you're also like reacting like with somebody getting shitty, especially in the captain's world, you know what I mean? Where you're like, fuck it, you know what I mean? And obviously today it's like a different world, you know what I mean? You can't, it's like you fucking choke slam somebody, you're like, dude, get to a certain level, you're like, we're not doing that shit anymore, because now you're like, fuck yeah, you will fucking sue me. You know what I mean? They see you drive up in a nice truck, they're like, yeah, man. It's like when you're young and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna take this motherfucker out and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, I was a little fiery.
Me too.
Back in the day,
But I think they respect that. I think that there's a certain level of respect, especially with grown men captains, that they're paying a mortgage and you are doing those things. You are taking care of them. They are sticking with you for 15 years. They know full well that if you're willing to go to the mattresses like that with somebody, that you will fucking go to the mattresses for them too, and this with the same type of passion and tenacity. So I love that shit, man. I respect the fucking hell out of it. So
yeah, I see it in you too, Kev.
A little bit. Sometimes fucking it's still pumping in the fucking, you know what I mean? Still pumping, just can't stop us.
100%.
Yeah. So I'd like to go back to that. So today, what are all of the brands that you are under your leadership, your flag?
So we acquired Gilligan's just the beginning of this year. Well, I guess after Extreme, we started another one on the harbor. It was Destin Water Fun, also, and then we purchased Destin Parasailing. And like I say, just this year we got Gilligan's. We're building a marina in Fort Walton Beach, which will be Extreme H2O of Fort Walton Beach, opening next year if everything goes to plan. And
yeah, much to my chagrin. Fucking goddamn it! That
and
was
then,
the first thing you said in the docs when you came up. You walked in and you had your first sold out weekend, and you had 8 boats there, and you said, I was like, man, you guys are sold out. That's awesome. Like I was saying that, but inside I was like, this motherfucker. Show up and blow up, and fucking that. It didn't piss me off, but it fired me up. You know what I mean? Because I was like, this is my house. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I know who you are. I know what you've done. And you're like, incorrect. This is my house.
Well,
raised in Fort Walton Beach.
Real quick. So just add some context to our listeners. Kevin's old location, Jason also had boats at the same marina. So
I came in after Kevin had been there for how many years, Kev?
Yeah, I was there for a couple of years. I was there for 2 years before you came in. And
the timing was perfect, though, I think.
But to be fair, like I also like part of your marketing. So like when I came into this market, I knew who you were. I looked at your website. You know what I mean? Like I knew who the players were. I knew who was running ads. You know what I mean? So when you came into the marina, I very much, and like having a relationship with Greg, and you were super helpful. And you know what I mean? You were super helpful to me, and I still, because I know how this industry is, and I know, like, even your marketing. I remember being like talking about being Florida natives. Like I knew that this place like meant something to you, and being from here meant something to you. So like even though that like you were coming in and I was there a couple years, I still very much was like, well, I'm still a guest in your house because I've only lived in this community for a couple years, and you've been here for 20 years grinding it out. And like I'm like, hey, I'm the new kid on the block. Like anything this guy's like nice to me in any way. Like I like I said, I'm like, obviously, huge.
Throughout all of this, I've been able to get along. I feel like with everybody. I definitely had some of the larger ones checking in on me every once in a while, like, how many skis you got over there? Wait, how many skis you got over there? As we were going.
How many skis do you have now? How many?
It's about 50.
Wow. So now 50. How many pontoon boat rentals?
Without Fort Walton Beach, about 40.
How many?
About 40.
40 boats, 50 skis, 4 parasail boats. What else? I know I'm missing.
Well, and then Fort Walton Beach is coming. So.
And then tour boat.
Yeah, you have a tour boat.
Yeah, we've got the new tiki boat coming. We have the Island Runner at the Destin Marina there as well. So.
Yeah, man, and congratulations to you on all of that. So for the listeners,
slow and steady, right?
Sure. I mean, I guess. I mean,
it is. That has been
consistent,
slow and steady.
So what was the mindset, if you don't mind sharing a little tactical advice? I know you like to keep the cards close to your chest. So why umbrella under multiple brands? Why not just make everything Extreme H2O? Why have you kept the brands that you acquired under their brand rather than, make one single brand?
I had a train of thought that basically that Google is, it's real estate, right? There's 20 locations you're going to see when you Google an item, so if you could be 10 of those 20, that would be better. But if you just do it all under one brand, under one site, well, you're only going to hold so much real estate there. So that's kind of why we did that. I've gone back and forth whether that was the right thing or not. Should they all be Extreme H2O of Fort Walton or of the Harbor?
I feel like it's the right play. I mean, I definitely would put.
I agree.
By my head of because I think if you brand it under like the single Extreme H2O, it's just like more like a vanity metric or something like that. And then also the idea of these returning guests, like it could be confusing to somebody who's been coming to Gilligan's for how long? Mike and Biz, 20, right? 20.
I think more like 30 years. Yeah,
30 years
in the 80s. I think when he opened that.
Yeah. So I think it's a smart play there. The reason I ask is for anybody like moving forward who wants to, I think that would be a question in their heads too. And definitely a smart play. So
I think there's a couple different philosophies on that.
Sure.
I think some people are brand recognition is most important. And there's a part of me that I agree. And then there's the other part of me that also says if you can be this much out of this many listings, that's advantageous.
No, I just speaking from my point of view, I think Jason did the right thing by not consolidating all his brands into one, because each one of them already had market exposure in the Google Maps and in organic. So, if he closed down the brands or just repurposed the websites, he could lose ranking on some of those some of those query searches. So no, if it was a really small company he bought that didn't have any brand exposure, not on the maps, then I probably would just consume it and shut it down, just because that's one more brand that you have to maintain and market. But Gilligan's is a big company. Gilligan's was probably top 5 larger water sport company in the area, so you can't just get rid of a brand like that.
Sure. Well, I mean, if it has strength on Google too, right? If you've got good placement, how can you justify getting rid of that great placement? I don't think you can.
Mm-hmm. No, you have to continue it.
Even if it was a small company that's almost like nobody knows, you have to leave it because it's number 2 on the maps, or it's number 2 organic, or whatever. First, whatever.
There was a second, Tristan, feel free to edit this out. The minute where you fucking did not want to own Gilligan.com or whatever it was there for a minute when he was going through all that. Jesus fucking Christ, when they held that shit ransom, dude. Oh my God,
that was terrible.
Holy fucking shit.
That was like right during the acquisition too.
And the kid's such a sweet fucking old man, like if I could have somebody adopt me, it would be that fucking guy, dude. You know what I mean? What the fuck, man?
No, he's
anyway. Tristan, yeah.
No, now that you opened it up, we have to tell the story of like what happened.
I'm not telling that fucking.
Okay, well, I'll tell it. I'll tell the story because I'm the one that found it.
I'm here. I'm listening. I gotta grab water. I'm losing.
Okay, so Mike, the previous owner of Gilligan's, he reached out to me originally when he was looking to sell the business, and I gave him a couple names of people to talk to. Obviously, Jason being one of them. But during the process of him selling it, his domain name got hacked, and the person removed the site, and they said all these like horrible things about the owner, Mike, which he's like the most amazing, nicest guy in the world, unflattering things. And they basically did it to hold him ransom. But long story short, like, he was really great. Jason was like really patient. And, he was a man of his word. He was able to acquire the domain back, got it back to Jason. But it was, I've never seen that happen before. Like someone taking it.
Start from zero on that situation a little bit,
Yeah. So when they took it over, they removed the website. So, one thing about SEO though, is that the domain, the length of the registration for the domain. So that domain name probably been around for a long time, 10, 20 years. So the length of the domain being registered for plays a small ranking signal, and plus there's a lot of backlinks already going to that domain name. So even though the hacker took all the content off for how many months, there's still backlinks going to that domain name. So it just needed to be, content needed to be in there, and you did take a hit in the meantime, but yeah, that was an interesting situation.
Yeah, just give it a little revamping and a little bit of time.
Let me ask you this question, because like I know where I fall on this question, and don't get me wrong, I love the industry, but like industry, lifestyle, or money, entrepreneur.
To begin with, 100% just lifestyle.
Yeah.
Not about the money. I lost my brother about 3 years into having my water sports company, and then I self-destructed, and I had a daughter on the way. I found out in knock on the door. You got a kid on the way, and I was broke for the first time in my life. And that's kind of the kick in the ass that I needed to get the focus. And then I moved, built the website, and everything just turned around, took off.
Do you think that you could, given everything that you've done, all the shit that you've built, like, do you feel like today, if you could spin up like anything and you probably be pretty fucking good at it?
I kind of feel that way. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I would probably test the market before I would jump off and buy the equipment. I'd probably build out the marketing first and just feel out how many phone calls are going to pour in, sell that to somebody else who's doing it.
So I would assume now you wore water sports for a long time. I mean, I know you really you still love being on the water. I see your snaps and your Instagram. Like, surfing is your fucking thing. Like, when you want to decompress, you go surfing. You truly do have a love for water sports and actually the industry. But that being said, do you sort of look at yourself now as more of just like a business entrepreneur and less of
Well, because my role is more that, I'm less on the water. I don't necessarily love that, but I'm still on the water. I still take my boat to work every day, so I've still retained my ability to be on the water every day, even though I am not working the docks, so I still love what I do.
Yeah.
Jason, how do you? So you've been around, and this is a question that I see get asked from time to time. But how do you? I'm not going to say prevent, but how do you deal with employees that get ambitious, want to take all of the information that they've learned under working for you and start their own businesses? Like, do you have a thought or?
I don't try to prevent it. If somebody has the gumption and the want and the will, by all means, take a bite, take the risk, jump out there, do it. I would never hold anybody back. I would help somebody. They want to partner on something. Somebody who's at that level and they're ready to make that jump, I would jump with them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fucking perfect answer, man. I love it. Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, if they come to you and say, hey, I'm really interested in this industry, I want to start my own company, and I appreciate learning from you, and you were a great mentor. But there's other situations where they, they're more malicious about it. They learn, you invest in them, and then they just can peace out, and it's not necessarily a.
I just worry about myself,
Yeah.
Greg.
Okay.
I don't hold any hate for anybody. I don't have time or energy for that. If somebody has the gumption to jump out there and do it, God bless them. Get out there and do it.
Good. I agree.
I don't hate on it. It'll be somebody else I'm competing with. That's okay. It's all right.
Yeah. So I got a notorious plug. I don't know if I told you. So I've been working on a book, and it's called From Mate to Millionaire: How to Turn Your Love of Water Sports and Charters and Rentals into Your Passion and Profits. I can't remember the fucking name. But it's like a huge lie, because it should just be called fucking from millionaire to being broke as fuck, how to take $1 million and turn it into $5. It's one page long.
All your free time.
And it should be called fucking Don't Do It.
Don't do it.
Fucking stop.
Right now, it's a tough situation for somebody that thinks they're going to jump in. This is as tough as I've ever felt it in the 20 years I've been doing it.
100%. 100%. And we talked about this at the WSIA, and especially in parasail, because and fucking jet skis. So the problem is the fucking pricing. The pricing is so fucked up, and it's a challenge, because it's like, I mean, do you make the jump? Do you tell some guy from fucking Georgia that it's going to be $160 for an hour for a jet ski? it's like, fuck, man, like probably not.
Well,
You know,
Kevin, real quick, but add some context to that. You said the pricing. There's a problem with the pricing. Explain that a little further.
yeah, it hasn't moved with fucking the prices of everything else, and all of our costs have gone up, and all of our everything has gone up. And
In
in
2004, I was charging $100 an hour,
right,
or $100 an hour at the
Yeah.
harbor. You know what I mean? It's the same. Parasail is the same.
and I think that's also because of, I think it has to do a lot with the retention rate, especially with parasail. Parasail is, and this is just anecdotal. I've got no studies or data to support what I'm going to say, but I believe it is a one and done thing. Like, I think you go parasailing once, and again, this is just part of my sales pitch on the boat with the photos. Is this an old time corny thing, but you always ask open-ended questions that answer and yes. So one of those questions would always be, have you ever been or is this your first time parasailing? And we framed it like that because we knew it was like 90% of the time was yes. It was their first time. So we'd be like, oh, you ready to have some fun? Yes. Is this your first time parasailing? Yes. Do you guys want to buy photos and videos? And, get them into fucking shaking their head. Yes. But I've literally, because I've flown between 90, 100,000 people and heard that question posed probably 100,000 times. Like, I got some pretty good fucking data to support that people are not going parasailing year after year after year again. Jet ski is a little bit different, right? People gonna, they catch the bug, they might come and do it again. But if they really catch that bug, a lot of times they're gonna fucking buy one, right? And so I just think the retention rate on jet skis and parasail, with boating, it's a little bit different. It's more exploratory. So like, I am, again, for listeners of the show, believe it or not, like, I have a boat reserved, a pontoon boat that I'm renting because it's on a lake, it's in the mountains, and I want to go explore and I want to go see that shit.
I was going to say the same thing. If I go somewhere, I'll rent a jet ski just to explore their coastline.
Yep, absolutely. So, and with parasailing, I think jet ski, it gets a little bit more, does get a little bit challenging because that niche is so small and you have so many first time riders. And this is sort of why in Florida, the industry has kind of clamped down on us, because it's always like, oh, these guys, they're these idiots that don't know what they're doing. And it's like, there's a little validity to that. They are newcomers to the sport. My argument to that would be is that if you go buy one, or someone's riding one for the first time, it's their friend, that they have none of the firewalls that we're putting them through. They have none of the tutorial, none of the guidance. Like, you're just going to get on your friend's shit and you're going to go. You're not going to be like, okay, we're going to make you take a test and you're on my $15,000 machine or my $40,000 boat. Like, no, we're actually really want you to stay in one fucking piece with this thing. Oh, we lost Greg.
I'm here.
We'll just keep on rolling.
Can you hear me?
Back in, and we'll keep it going. It's fine. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Okay.
So it's just like, yeah, I think that argument is totally bullshit. But back to the pricing thing, I think that's sort of the challenge that we're facing in the industry, is that the customer lifetime value is not there. And when you're looking at any kind of business, you're going to buy something. A lot of times this is a question that an investor is going to ask, is they're going to go, what's the CLV of your customer? How many times are they going to buy over and over and over again? So now we have a product that we have to keep on fucking chasing for that acquisition. And on top of it, all of our costs are rising and our rack rate is flat.
Margin crusher.
That's why this is like, oh, this is the hardest it's ever been, because prices have not maintained. And I don't know what the magic number is on that. The whole industry get together and,
well, I think COVID did this to us a little bit, right? Because the times were so great. Everybody saw how affluent everybody was spending money. We were all making lots of money, and that enticed everybody and their mother to go buy a jet ski and put it on Facebook or rent it out. So I think that's part of what we're dealing with. I think because now there's such a increase in supply, though, and a decrease in demand, I think it's gonna equalize.
Well, the prices would have stayed where they were from 21 if we didn't get an influx of so much inventory.
Yeah.
So the prices were heading in the right direction, and then we had COVID. Everybody opened a business up, And then, now we're seeing the opposite. Businesses are getting sold. People are going out of business. I mean, I saw people going out of business in the middle of summer this year.
Yeah.
So, the parasailing prices were kind of getting to where they needed to be in 21 and 22. Like Jason, I remember you were getting $100 a head for parasailing, which this is where the prices should be. And then it just, obviously, it took a turn. But one thing I'm going to say about what Kevin was saying about, parasailing being a product where people is a one and done. So when it comes to like me seeing things booked on TripShock, so OTAs are known for like first time buyers. They get into a market, they don't know anything going on. They use OTAs to compare and look at all the reviews, and there's social proof there. But parasailing is a popular product on OTAs because they're first time visitors. And we kind of rode that really, really far since with parasailing and some of these like more unique products that you do one time you don't do. But lately, parasailing and jet ski rentals kind of been working in parallel as less people are booking parasailing jet skis. I just saw the trend. It kind of peaked in COVID and coming down where boat tours and boat rentals have not had the same decreases that
Right,
I've
so
seen other things.
You can put the whole family on the boat, right, and take them out, and it's costing less per person than hopping on a ski with one person, or a high price per person on parasail.
Yeah, there's similarities in the boat rental and boat tours. You got to think when you come to a destination, especially like a coastal market, you want to be in the water and on the water. So the cheapest thing to do on the water would be either you rent a boat for your family or you book a boat tour. Those are like the most, if you really break down the affordability, you can book a boat for 4 hours for $250. That's really good value. You can do a lot for 4 hours. But if you think about parasailing and jet ski rentals, what you get for that dollar you spend is nothing like you get a 2 hour boat tour, for a pretty reasonable price in most markets. So we're seeing like that's the trend, that's the shift when the market starts to turn a little bit. But we know that everything's cyclical. Once we get past this next year or two, when the economy starts coming back, I think parasailing and jet skis are going to get back to where they were as far as like a demand and pricing standpoint.
Yeah,
that's what I love about Greg. He's always so fucking positive. He's always just like, man, it's like he's always got like such a positive spin on it. And I'm always like, you better fucking get a shovel, man, and learn plumbing because this gravy training will last. So I will say this is why I say that. Like I put so hard on the sales side and the CRM side because when you get into water sports, right, and it makes you such a great entrepreneur, but the challenge is that we live in water sports in a very e-com dominated world. And so you take a guy like me who's like, I can fucking run a boat, I can run a jet ski, right? You know what I mean? I'm not like exactly going to go light the next SaaS product on fire or fucking spin up like, some great e-com brand online and sell shit online. It's not really who I am. I'm like you. Like I like to be in the fucking trenches. I like to be on the ground. I like to have my hand in a little bit of everything. But this is where I'm like, if you have your sales process nailed down in this industry, right? And it's pretty easy. It's not super fucking difficult. Everything that's coming in is like, it's not like we're doing outbound or cold calling people to fucking rent a boat. So you can cut your teeth in understanding like what a sales process looks like and how a CRM works. Because then if you go into another business, you have a much longer sales cycle and you have a much harder, at least something that's like a brick and mortar style business or small business, whether it be like pizza. It's like, we're not really selling pizzas online. You're not like, if you have a brick and mortar retail store, you're not, you know what I mean? Like lighting the world on fire with e-com unless you just actually have an e-com store. That's why I say water sports it's such a wildly challenging and interesting product insofar as a business model because of the e-com aspect of it, the large demand that it carries, and then all of the like the mechanics of the actual mechanics of like working on a boat and making sure that your customers are safe. There's like all these different pieces that fall into it. But where I think we really lack is because there's such a high demand. Like our call centers are always just like, oh, do you have a jet ski for rental? And like I was calling like big companies in South Florida and like listening to their sales, and it'd be like, do you have a jet ski for rental? No, we only do jet ski tours. That's it. That was the fucking click hang up, because they know like the next person's going to call and they're going to be like, well, do you have a jet ski tour? And they're going to be able to fill that spot.
Sure.
You have to push so hard for it on the sales side that, you know, we understand that if there is disruption in this, if it all isn't bright and cheery the way Greg paints it to be, because I'm a little bit more of a negative Nancy when it comes to this shit, just because of all the meetings and FWC, and I got to call you up and say, hey, Jason, they're fucking us again. And you're like, why are you telling me this? I don't want to fucking tell you, man. Like, because FWC is notoriously bad about fucking doing outreach and letting know that things have been changed. It's like,
still
you know what's funny? I remember FWC mentioned to Jason one time about like something changing. Like, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, but they said like, do you know the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast? And Jason's like, why in the hell am I getting critical information from the FWC from the Awkward Watersport Guys? And I started cracking up.
he said it.
He's just like, why do I got to go listen to the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast to get critical information about my business? I do agree. I do agree. Like, we should not be the ones to relay critical business information about the Florida Fish and Wildlife. But yeah,
about a reinterpretation of, you know, something that we all thought was a certain way for 20 years.
More than that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Man. And look, I pushed, I don't know if you listened to the show, but I was just like, why now? I kept asking, why now? And there was like no real good answer. But to play devil's advocate on that, you know, like if there's like a driving change, or, you know, this is what they always say on the government side, that ignorance of the law does not preclude you from it. And they are not they don't have like a marketing arm, or they don't have like very good public outreach. And I know you might see some ABC News thing. Like, I came across a YouTube thing about SB 606, and I'd never heard about that piece or anything like that. I just stumbled upon it on YouTube, and they're talking to some poor bastard out there who's like worried about his livelihood, and he's just like, man, I'm just gonna fucking.
Well, Kevin, how many times has the city council done things without telling any operators?
I mean, 2 nights
all the time. Yeah, they can. So city council, and this is not just Florida, this is anywhere, but if they issue an emergency moratorium, they don't have to give public notice. So unless you have a friend on city council or in city staff, you will not know about these things. So yeah, you just got to get involved and read the agendas, and this is crazy. You know, they don't have to tell you. So this is why, like, you know, we're so connected now, like our industry with the Facebook group, and you know, Jason knows. I mean, 15 years ago, no one was talking to each other. I mean, we were all kind of in our own bubble, just trying to make it. But, you know, I think what's happening is that there's a lot of money to be made in water sports now. It used to be like a cottage industry where you do it as a lifestyle business, but now you're building careers in this industry, and you're building big businesses. Private equity is now buying up companies. So it's no longer just the mom and pop. It's legit. Like, people are making, and anytime businesses are making money, it starts becoming regulated. So that's really what's going on.
You know, and then you're the fucking, and it's like, I'm like same, like I do money, like it definitely drives me, but I'm not like, Jason, I probably think you feel the same way about this. It's not like, I'm not a greedy fucking person. And I'm, you know what I mean? Like, I would never, I'm so firmly, like you said earlier, you're like, I'm just focused on me. And so with that, I think with that mindset, it's like, you probably would agree that like, you don't have to lose for me to fucking win.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, fucking, we can both win. And if we're doing it right, like, I don't even know that you're fucking winning, other than the fact that we're good friends and we talk. But, there's plenty of guys that I don't have the same relationship that are probably fucking crushing it. And I have no idea, because I'm not really paying attention to.
I mean, just like you said, we got along perfect when I moved in over there to your marina, and you knew that we were just going to create a buzz at that marina that was going to benefit us both, because I was going to market like hell, and so were you.
We know who it really benefited.
Well,
that's a motherfucker. Sometimes I feel like he feels like we all got to lose for him to fucking win, and I don't.
It does.
I don't. I never really see that, at least in this industry, work out that way, because that's tried to play out in other markets too, where, you know what I mean? Like, ultimately you have to write that motherfucker a check. There's just too much demand. You're not gonna squeeze anybody out of the business where it's just like everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, I fucking, like, there's just so much demand for it, like, that either you write a check and you buy the guy out. But it's not like, if you have a decent business and a good brand and good customer service and fucking okay marketing, you're gonna fucking do fine. There's just a lot of demand for it in certain markets. So
I think that if an industry is strong, then it creates the demand. It grows the demand. So you got to think, like, if there was only one parasail company in Destin for the past 10 years, then there might not be the demand for it there is now. Because there's 20 companies, there's a lot more marketing, there's a lot more relationships that are built to grow that, that segment of business. So
people those see the parasail happening out their back door too, right? Because there's one every half mile.
Yeah, every half mile you're going to see a parachute. So now they're on there Googling. And so at the same time, though, it gets to the point where there's saturation, there's too many. And then when you have a downturn like we have now you're seeing the strong will survive. Businesses will consolidate, will sell, go out, the market will kind of work itself out. But it's good. Competition's good, and it definitely grows the demand. And when we go back on like another growth cycle in the economy, it's, we're all going to ride the wave. So
I'm going to ask. So we've heard about this like downturn, but I want you to flex a little bit here, Jason. I know you're a modest guy, but you had the fucking best year you've ever had, right?
We hit our numbers.
Fucking. So the reason that I ask that, because I want the guys listening to this to understand your philosophy and my philosophy, because same, dude. I fucking had the best fucking year I ever had, dude. And that wasn't just, with all the other shit that I do. Like, my water sport company, fucking, we held the line, and we had again another record-breaking year. And I know you did too. But the reason I asked that question, and it's not to be like, oh man, like whatever, unless you want to borrow money. Like I said, Jason got a ton of it.
You say so.
No, I say that just because I think your philosophy is what's made you so successful over the last 20 years, and your attitude about things, and just like you said, being in the trenches, keeping your head down and focusing on what it is that you do and trying to provide the best product and have the best team. It's another thing you say constantly. I've got the best team in water sports, which is fucking debatable. But we'll have that dick measuring contest a different time. I just say that because it's like, when you operate in the way that you do, it's like you deserve to fucking have record-breaking years year after year. And if it wasn't for guys like you that have been grinding it out for the last 20 years and doing what you do, there wouldn't have been a pathway for guys like me to feel like, man, maybe I can do this too. So, I just want to thank you for that, man, and say thank you for everything you do for the community here in the Destin, Northwest Florida market, coming to the events, and showing your support and solidarity with everything that we've tried to do, man. And again, man, thank you for coming on your show.
Likewise, I appreciate you guys. Greg's been an integral part of my business for the past 14 years. We've grown together, and I fed off his knowledge and, especially his marketing knowledge.
Well, I fed off his. I took his brand and I opened up a location in Alabama.
You did do that.
I did, yeah. Alabama Extreme Watersports.
God solid, man.
I didn't have to pay. He sold me some used skis. He gave me basically me the script. And you know what's crazy? I started that business in year 1. I crushed it with like 7. Actually, it was Mike from Gilligan sold me half of them, and then you sold me the other half. And because of all the years of just kind of learning your business through the OTA side, I was able to literally turnkey that business.
And year 3 you sold, right?
Year 3 I sold and did really well on it.
You're like, fuck, man.
The royalty fees have not been paid yet to Jason.
I remember you telling me, you'd be like, man, I just remember my phone would ring at 6 o'clock, and I'd be like, fuck, like I know it's something bad.
If the call was at 6 o'clock at night, I know it was something bad.
Yeah, I remember those days, man. So, Jason, let me ask you, man. What's next for you? Like, what does the next 10 years look like for you?
10 years? I'm going to finish this marina. We're going to build that location out, and I could see trying to get everything I'm trying to get the people around me to do what I do. And, maybe I'm surfing in El Salvador in 5 years, you know what I mean? And requesting a check. I don't know. I mean, I say that. A friend of mine says I'm not going to be able to slow down. He says that it's my personality to not be able to stop. I don't know. We'll see.
I think I think if you're gonna be in El Salvador, the businesses are gonna be sold because you can't. You got to have control. That's just what it is. You're not gonna be. Oh,
I'll set in stone for sure.
Yeah. You got a lot of. You're still young, man. You got the marina. You got other big ideas. I won't share, but I think you still got a lot of time yet.
All that money's making from OnlyFans, just fucking.
Hey.
I'm a fucking
talk about that.
I'm a diamond subscriber, man, or whatever the top level is, man. Fucking that's me messaging you at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh shit!
And so, funny story. I got Jason into NFTs.
Oh,
you mean you fucked him out of a shitload of money with
that? Funny.
He has 100. He has 100. He has 100 of the fish pictures, by the way.
They're beautiful fish.
He's like
the cartoon.
Greg's investment strategy was
go long.
All of your coins
go long on the fish.
Go long on NFTs. Yes.
Long on NFTs, and then when Bitcoin hits 15 grand, get out.
Yeah, I still have all of it. I sold nothing, which I'm glad I did on the crypto stuff, right? Hey, it's all great right now.
Dude, I had $300. I'd never owned Bitcoin. I had ETH. And I got out of it all right. I didn't fucking the magnificent run. But I had $300 in a crypto web for some. We'll just say I bought some stuff online, like dark web, that required. Look, I like to party, okay? It's no secret. You don't look like this nor act like this if you fucking have like a right mind frame, right? And I don't give a shit. That's fine. But I had $300 in my fucking crypto wallet for Bitcoin, and it's now worth like $1,000. And it's just a glaring mistake that I made. I just want to I'm just gonna donate that money to. I'm gonna give that whatever 1/10 of a coin or whatever it is to somebody. I'm just like, motherfucker, man.
That's a whole nother subject,
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, Jason, is there any last words or advice to a young, scrappy gentleman looking to get into water sports? Like, what would you tell someone looking to get in?
Look for a market that is not saturated. where it is not, check the pricing, and if it's $40 a person for parasail, you probably want to look somewhere else. Get easier on yourself.
Sage advice, my man.
And love being on the water. So it's not work when you're there every day.
Party with hot chicks.
And that.
Brother, dude, thank you so much for coming on, man. I have not enjoyed an episode like this in so fucking long, man. I just get to fucking party with you, dude. And it was really great seeing you at the WSIA last month. And and thanks for coming on. And everybody, thank you guys for listening. And as always, keep it awkward.
Keep it awkward.
Keep it awkward.
Boom. That was so much fun, dude.